content get stored where I want it to be stored on my computer and have it get shared where I want it to get shared on the web. I think there's a lot of innovations going on, but I think most of them still require that mom, that busy mom who doesn't have time to sit in front of the computer and spend a half an hour doing this, to still do it herself. And I think the magic here is how can we make it automatic so that she can come home from taking pictures, turn the camera on, and then go do the things on her list that she feels like she needs to do, and have all of that stuff happen automatically in the background.
So, Susan, you have some data in terms of what moms are actually doing with their photos once they actually get them onto their computers. Can you share a little bit of that?
Sure. Another hurdle, or one of the key challenges that we focus on at Smilebox, and some of the insights I should just add, I'm sharing to you. We do two things. We have a market survey where we get a representative sample of the U.S. female population, so we can see what people want who aren't our customers. And then we also have over 40,000 customers who's given us feedback in our surveys over the last 3 years. So we listen to them very closely. But what we see is the key challenge is the variety of channels and methods that they want to share, and they vary greatly based on their motivation. So if you're creating a gift, or you're preserving something or archiving something, you want to burn it to DVD, it's a very different process than if you want to post to Facebook. But what we see in terms of activities are about a quarter, 24% of moms create and share their photos and photo projects online. About 20% of them are posting to their blog or Facebook. 16% are still ordering prints, so a large number of moms still want the physical prints and putting them in albums. 16% are printing their photos at home. 8% are ordering photo books, and that's more of an annual activity, especially around the holiday. It's not really an everyday kind of sharing occasion. And 2% are going with their stick to those retail kiosks. So you just see this variety of outlets, and how do you prepare the content that you want in the form that you want? How do we make that easy for a mom who we know is only willing to invest about 15 minutes? It ranges from about 15 to 30 minutes is what they expect, the time and effort that they are willing to put in on average.
So Lisa and Jennifer, you're sort of taking a little bit different approaches to doing the actual photo editing. There's the out of the box, at your computer, doing the projects, and then there's online with Picnic. So if you could just each talk a little bit about who is your consumer, how is it different if you're doing it actually on the desktop itself or online? Lisa, maybe you can start with who your customer is.
Sure. Well, our customer did start, just because of the nature of us being a cloud application, we did start with young, we were very voracious and huge uptake with the younger consumer or the more technology-forward customer. But as we've aged to our whopping 3 years, we are getting older every day as our customer base broadens. So we are now starting to really have some really great traction, different verticals, and moms is certainly one of those. We have a really great supportive base and with bloggers who tend to use Picnic, and because it's very easy, it's very light, it's very fun. So we're really seeing people that they don't need to be technology savvy to use Picnic, but certainly technology comfortable to use Picnic. So they are really pulling those images from wherever they happen to live, whether that's their desktop, their Flickr account, Facebook, doing the magic within Picnic and then pushing them back out. And many times it is back to their desktop before they pursue something else. So I would say that as we're growing, our customer base is broadening from where we originally began.
So Jennifer, how does that different? I mean, what's the experience that's different that you can do on a desktop than you could do online? Why would you purchase software as opposed to using an online service?
Well, there are definitely some differences between a photo editing software that you might have on your computer and an online solution. Some of those things may be whether you retain ownership of a photo once it's put online, how easy it is to share if you're using a desktop application, definitely things to consider. With a tool like the Print Shop, it's really designed for printing projects, creating projects very quickly and easily without the use of a designer and without extensive training. So it is basically 1, 2, 3 design. You select a template, you change the copy, add your own photos, and print. And that is perfect for both the mom and the small business owner. You can create just about anything in the tool. So whether you choose to use the one-click photo editor that's inside the software, or you choose to edit your photos online or with a different photo editing tool, it really doesn't matter. They can all be brought into the Print Shop and then turned into a family calendar or your holiday card or just about anything a busy mom wants to create, and then you can print it right out.
So we're all talking about digital as though that's the only thing that people have, is they only have digital photos, and it's been around for a long time. But Neil, there's a lot of people who have older photos. They're creating projects that they want to do for anniversaries or high school reunions. What are some of the challenges of trying to incorporate some of that older material back into sort of this digital flow?
Sure. I mean, I think when you get to this idea of scanning photos, I think this is probably in the top 5 of all New Year's Eve resolutions, right?
Right.
This year, I'm going to get my photos organized. Or maybe it's more, this year, I need to get my photos organized. I have a responsibility to do that. And so, Mom, and I'm going to give her a name, I'm going to call her Judy, and she has 2 sons, which I know fairly well. But so Judy goes and pulls these boxes out of the closet, and she looks at the mass of work that's got to be done, and she pushes it back in the closet, and it doesn't get done. So I think one of the big issues and one of the big hurdles right out of the bat is just time and the complexity of what's going to be involved there. Now, you can get into also some of the technical aspects of that, and that is, great, so now that you're scanning, what's the image resolution? Is it a high res or a low res? Part of that comes to be, what are you going to do with these photos after they scan? Do you want to make new prints of them? Do you just want to use them as email or on the web? What are you going to do with the quality of the photo? I mean, you've got an original photo. Are you going to take it in that form when it comes through, or are you going to use one of the editing softwares and change that or make it into a movie? What are you going to do with that photo after you have that? But if I come back to the first one, I think the biggest hurdle of all is that time issue. And, I mean, in Mom trying to do it herself, it's kind of difficult. I mean, flatbed scanners, whatever, and they're not bad-mouthing, it makes it difficult to do that. Mm-hmm. And so what a little bit Jeff said earlier about that image capture, it comes back to how easy can you make this? Because it seems that the easier you make it, the better the success will be. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've done customer research because we have about 5 million frames out in population. So we talk to our customers, and they tell us that make it easy. If you make it easy, the sharing will take place. If you don't make it easy, the sharing doesn't take place. And so we've taken that to heart and trying to make it easy. So it's like one-touch scanning. We have a simple, well, it was up here a little bit ago, but we have a small little scanner that you just feed through the photos and it puts it on an SD card. No computer required or anything. Judy, my wife, she actually does it while she's watching TV. So she just takes the photos, feeds them through. And so the time doesn't become now devoted to just doing the scanning. It's kind of a complement to what she's got going otherwise.
That's good. Susan, if you could, we're going to move on to videos. And, none of you are from companies that do the real sort of hard, heavy lifting, video editing. And I think that's for a reason. I think that, moms just don't want to do a lot of, video editing. If you could just, again, give us just a couple of stats.
I can give you a few. Yeah, sure.
And then we'll hear from some others on.
Okay.
The actual editing.
Well, and those of you who attended the IDC breakfast this morning, you heard Chris Shute talk about how video is going to be the exploding story of 2010. We just see an explosion in the amount of video clips being taken and the desire to share them. So unlike when I had my son 14 years ago, we had hours and hours of VHS tapes that were virtually impossible to share. Now we have realized that you really don't need 2 hours. You only need 30 seconds of your child mastering something new or a birthday moment. And we're taking those clips. We want to combine them with text and music and photos. And really, it's all about telling a story as opposed to spending hours editing. But 80% of moms have a point-and-shoot camera. And many of those cameras have video capabilities. And 35% have a digital video camera. And the usage is very high. It's exploding, driven by the flip camera this winter. But the pain point is, the upload time. And what do you do with all these clips? There's a backlog. So it's extremely difficult to do now. And the way that Smilebox is approaching it is